Greetings, strangers. I'm Britt.
And I'm Dee.
Welcome to another episode of It's a Strange World After All, the podcast where we discuss true crime cases, the supernatural, urban legends, conspiracy theories, and all the things that keep the world strange. However, for today's episode, we are doing movie reviews, a movie review of either the horror, thriller, slasher, or true crime genre.
In today's episode, a teenage girl moves to a new city and befriends a group of misfit girls interested in the occult. Together, the girls conjure up various spells and curses to make their wildest dreams come true. But they will learn that magic comes at a price. We review Andrew Fleming's The Craft, released in 1996.
I'm the sun and the air. I was like, I forgot this song was in this movie.
I know. I was like, now I want to watch Charmed.
I know, which makes me think they
Man.
took it from that because Charm came out in 98, right? 98? 1998? I think.
I
And The
don't know. I
Craft came
know it
out
was
in
the late
96.
90s.
Yeah, Charm came out in 1998. So I'm just going to assume that was like an homage to the Craft movie. I'm sure you could probably find it somewhere.
Yeah. What are you Googling it? What is the name of the song? I never even thought to look it up. Oh, I
I
thought you were
looked it
on
up a
Google.
while ago. I was on Google. It's a cover of the Smiths' 1985 How Soon Is Now?
Say that
I
again. I didn't
think
hear you.
it says it's the cover of the Smiths' 1985 song How Soon Is Now.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's the right song. Say I'm here whether I need. It's a bop. That's what it is.
It is. It is.
It is.
I hate that they stopped playing it like in the later seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, The Craft release. I don't remember when I saw this, but when I saw it, baby girl, I was in love. I just knew I was like,
Me
these,
too.
these are my these are my people. This is where I need to be.
Same. Same.
Yes. I also just want to say really quick, as a Black woman in America, I also just want to thank Rachel True for just being a representation, because that was another thing that I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel so seen because of.
I know. I just hate how they did her like during like the, what do you call it? Like a press tour, I guess, when you go and promote the movies.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't included in anything, I don't believe. Yeah.
What? How do you know that? You looked it up?
Yeah. I just remember hearing about it. I think she spoke about it because I follow her on Instagram, and she had spoke about it a while back. But she was saying it was not the actors and the actresses, it was just Hollywood in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, spoiler alert. That lasted a little longer than. But yeah, spoiler alert. And also, I want to give a trigger warning for uh, suicide and sexual assault. Trigger warning. Okay, so Sarah Bailey, played by the actress Robin, we think it's Tooney, is.
No, just
I think I think it's Toonie. I'm saying it with my chest. I think it's Toonie. Um, she is essentially a troubled teenage girl. You know, it's the 90s. We ultimately find out that she previously attempted suicide and that she had just moved from San Francisco to Los Angeles with her father, played by actor Cliff D. Young, and her stepmother, which, okay, because already. So when I first watched it, I do not remember that lady at all. But then when I rewatched
I
it,
don't
I was
either.
like, where
I
does lady come from?
Okay, I thought I was going crazy because I was like, yeah, I do not remember her.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, at all.
Mandela effect. Let me write it down. Could this be a
Mm.
Mandela effect? Because where'd she come from? I don't remember stepmom at all being even mentioned. Like even in the when you get to the one part where they're like, "Oh, it was an accident," I don't remember her.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
same.
Okay. Well, she so Sarah, she enrolls in a local Catholic high school, and right away you can tell she's kind of having trouble fitting in. During her French class, her classmate Bonnie, played by Neve Campbell, again, she plays Sydney in the Scream series. She witnesses Sarah telekinetically causing a pencil to rotate while standing on the tip. I used to try to do this because of the crafts, but also, do you remember in Halloween Town when Marnie's sister really wanted that cookie and she was like, I really want that cookie, and the cookie started floating? Do you remember that?
The first one
Yeah, the first one, because her mom was like, you
or
can't have it. It was the first one. And then she was like, man, I really want it. And it started
Oh,
floating.
yeah,
Do
yeah, yeah.
Girl, I just
Yeah.
knew I never could do it. But I really wanted to try to do it. I just couldn't do it.
You should try it now.
Maybe. Let's see. We'll see. Stay tuned.
During lunch, Sarah is hit on by Chris, played by Skeet Ulrich, also Scream. Yes. When did Scream come out?
Excuse me, either
Nine,
99 or 98. Hold on.
99.
You know I'm gonna Google it. 90, girl, 96? Hold up. Because first of
Yeah, so I
all,
did not know that.
he's a cutie patootie. Yeah, it was released December 20th, 1996.
So yeah, he was in Scream. He played her boyfriend. What was his name?
Chris.
No, in Scream.
Oh,
Cause I remember it's
oh, Billy,
Sydney.
Billy Loomis, Billy Loomis.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Billy and Stu. Stupid ass.
Oh, and also, can we mention the guy? I do not know this man's name in this movie. The one
Trying
that
to.
was like messing with. Oh, I thought you were saying something. In French class, why is he in every 90s movie?
Why is he in every 90s movie? He
You
was
know what
in
I'm talking
Clueless,
about? Because I
wasn't
remember
he?
he was in Clueless. Yep.
Yes, Breckenmeyer is his name. Let me see.
Yes.
Hold on. He was in Clueless. He was in Road Trip. He was in what's another 90s movie? He was in a couple of early 2000s movies.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Chris, he is the school's football star. I don't know if he was what position he played because he was just seemed like he was just there. She's asking him about Bonnie and her two friends, Nancy, played by Faruza Balk. You may know her from Waterboy. That's the first thing that came.
yes.
Vicky
Girl,
Valancourt.
I kept thinking, and Vicky, and I love Vicky, and she showed me her movies, and I loved him too. That's all I kept thinking. That's funny.
Oh my God. Okay. And Rochelle, played by Rachel True. Um, what was she? Half and half.
Mm-hmm.
Half baked. Yeah, so her.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris is telling her to stay away from them. He's telling her that they're witches. So after that, Bonnie is telling Nancy because the whole time they're looking for a fourth girl to complete their circle to make a coven. Is a coven? What's a movie? Because I was like, do
What?
you have to have a specific number to be a coven? But I think they were trying to
Well,
do something in particular, like something specific.
yeah, yeah. I think because yeah, I don't think I don't think you need. Hold on, we can. Let me see. Hey, Chat GPT, how many people? Then the government come track me down. Yeah, okay, so three is an ideal number, but yeah, I believe the emphasis was on because they needed the north, the south, east, west, earth,
Yeah.
water, fire. What's the other one? Wind,
Air?
air, wind, air. Like same, same.
Okay. All of the girls have, their own issues. So Nancy, was it Rochelle that was like she doesn't want to be white trash anymore? Or something she was
Oh
saying.
my gosh, yes, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man,
that's basically Nancy's issue. Because, that she lives in a trailer with her mom and her stepfather, Ray. So that's her issue. Bonnie, she has burns like all over her back. And that was the one scene where I was like, well, besides the one with the roaches and stuff, where I was like, I couldn't
oh
really look
yeah,
at it. Yeah.
yeah,
Because she's like going to get different treatments, but nothing is working. So Rochelle is a swimmer. But she's like literally, I'm finna say literally, the only black person in the school, seem like. And
yeah.
she's dealing with racism and she's taunted by Lizzie, who's the most popular girl in the school. No, Laura Lizzie. And she's played by Christine Taylor.
I
Oh,
just
let's
said,
see.
not Marsha, 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 not Marsha from the Brady Brady Bunch, Brady Bunch
Is that her? I
from
heard.
the Brady Bunch. Isn't it not? Hold on. Is it not? It looks like
I don't know.
Christine
I never really
Taylor.
watched Brady Bunch like that.
You didn't watch the Brady Bunch movie. Gonna keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on dancing all
Oh, you're
through the
talking about
night.
the movie.
Yes, from the movie, D. Gonna keep on, keep on.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen it. Cause I was
What?
like, I know her from I know her from Dodge. Was it Dodgeball she was in?
Yeah, I think so.
Cause she's married to
You can do it.
why is his name not popping up?
You can do
She is
it.
married to
Ben
see if
Stiller.
or was married. No, Ben Stiller, yeah.
Yeah.
So could this be another Mandela effect? When after the whole swim thing, when they were in the locker room, did she not? I know she said negroids because she was like, "Why don't you like me?" And she was like, "I don't like negroids," or whatever she said. But before that, when she was like, "There's a pubic hair on whatever it was," and then she was like, "No, that's just one of Rochelle's." In the movie, it said nappy hairs, but I could have sworn she said the N word. But maybe I'm getting it mixed up with what she said later.
I can't co-sign. I don't remember. Like, I remember that she had said some pretty heinous things to her, but I don't like I remember
Yeah,
she said something about her hair because old boy said something about her hair too. Chris did in the beginning when he was talking to Sarah. Because he was like, what's wrong with her hair? Like, why does it look like that?
yeah,
And then but yeah, I don't remember, D. Maybe if anybody remembers, let us know. Could that be a Mandela effect? So maybe we got two. Because who
yeah.
the hell is a stepmom? And then the other one. Can I just say thank you for bringing up Negroids? I was more offended by Negroids. I'm like, if you're gonna say it, damn it, then say it. If you're gonna say it, go on and say it.
That's why I feel like she said it. I could be wrong because I haven't
You think
seen
maybe
this.
they
I used to
changed it?
watch this movie all the time, but I haven't seen it in a while though. So I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. Okay, so after school, the three girls they come up to Sarah. So Sarah ends up going to watch Chris's football practice. And then let me, because first of all, because Nancy was being a beast, she didn't want to let Sarah be their partner at first in what science class. First of
Mm-hmm.
all, but then she finally came around to it. They all end up going to an occult shop. The owner, Lirio, played by Assumpta Serna, comments that Sarah is not like the other girls. The other girls came in there looking for five-finger discounts. Sarah is gonna pay. Sarah is pure at heart. And she's like, "You are not like the other girls." And then she says that she's possibly a natural witch, that her power comes from within. So when they're leaving the shop, Sarah is harassed for the second time by a deranged homeless man right before he gets hit by a car. And Nancy is geeked. She is thrilled by what just happened. They realize that they all wanted him to get hit by the car because she's like, "Did y'all feel it? Like, I was thinking he finna get hit by the car." Rochelle was like, "I was thinking it too." And Bonnie's like, "I'm thinking it too." And Sarah's like, "I can't, I was thinking it too." And then he gets hit by the car. So they're basically convinced, like, no, she is our fourth. Now, let me tell you about invoking the spirit of Manon, who is like, there's God, there's Satan, but then there's Manon. He's like at the center of everything. And that's their ultimate goal as a coven, is to invoke his spirit.
Sarah leaves the girls and she goes to meet Chris. And I don't know, he was just a little, what's the word? Like pushy to me. To me.
No, to everybody. He was pushy. He was just being a
Yeah.
teenage boy. He was being
Yeah.
pushy.
And she refuses to sleep with him. So the next day at school, she finds out that he basically told everybody that they slept together and that she was the worst he's ever had.
First of all, Chris, this is not even in my note, but first of all, Chris, this is the first day of school. This is the first day she has met these people. Let's number one. So no, I'm not trying
Mm-hmm.
to do anything with you. And I just met you, brother. And I just wanted to say they tried to warn her. They did try to warn her because at first I thought Nancy was hating a little bit, but then they tried to
Yeah.
warn her. She didn't listen. So
Nancy, Bonnie, and Rochelle, they invite her on a field trip and they take the bus to basically like look like the middle of nowhere.
hmm
I don't know where they went, but while they were there, they cast some spells. They call it calling the corners. And so Rochelle, she asks for strength not to hate those who hate her, which she handled that better than a lot of black women would have because
because
what
if
she was going through, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because of course she was referring to what was her name? Laura.
Laura Lizzie, yeah,
Laura
Laura.
Lizzie. What kind of name is okay? So she's referring to her. And then Sarah, she does a love spell for Chris, well, on Chris, which should never do love spells in the first place, unless it's like self love. Um,
Yes.
and Bonnie, she asks for beauty inside and out. And Nancy asks for all the power of Manon.
Wait a minute, because she tried to wait because they was drinking out of that little chalice. She tried to like, cause she was like said the little incantation and I was like, "In the power of man," like tried to like, girl, we heard you, we heard what you
And then
did
she did it again after that. I don't think we got to that part yet.
when
You
she
know what
was
I'm
like,
talking
"The
about?
power in me," and Bonnie was like,
Yeah.
"Us." That's how they knew. They
Yes.
should have known that she was gonna be problematic.
Exactly. Red flags.
Oh, okay. Two things. Quotable. When the bus driver is like, "Watch out for the weirdos," and Nancy is like, "We are the weirdos, Mister." Quotable.
That's like a
Second.
sound on TikTok.
Oh yeah. See, quotable. one of my favorite scenes, it just wasn't like a big deal. So, but one of my, well, it was a big deal to me, but one of my favorite scenes happens like right after this. They're all hanging out, and Sarah brings up the light as a feather, stiff as a board. So they play light as a feather, stiff as a board. Have you ever played? And if you've played with me, I apologize. I don't remember.
So I feel like we have, but wait, I feel like we have. Because I remember that I have played it, but then I'm like, who else would I have done, done that with? So I don't know.
Okay.
Because I
I
feel
do.
like when we used to watch like this and Charmed, we used to try to actually do some of the spells.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I do remember playing this. I don't remember as a kid, so maybe we did it as kids, but I do remember doing it in maybe high school. It was a couple of friends and did we try to lift me up? Okay. It's a little fuzzy. I do remember doing it and I do remember feeling like it worked, but then we were questioning if it worked because we were like, you felt light. Like the person that we did, like they felt light. And then they said they felt like they remembered like coming to the ground. But we did it with everybody did it with their eyes closed. So we didn't like witness anybody levitating. We just felt like it actually happened, but we all felt it. So I don't know.
That could be one of those things where you thought it happened, like, so how, like, with the Ouija board, like, you think the planchette is moving,
Oh,
but it's really not. Or
maybe.
not that it's not moving, but that you're doing it subconsciously, basically. So, could have been something like that.
Maybe. I'd be curious to know like how that ties into what the person that's floating felt. You know what I mean? Like what would make the person that's floating be like, "No, I really felt like I was
Mhm.
floating." I wonder. But I do get what you're saying. This is when things started kicking. So after they call it spells, but in my mind they was just manifesting. If they calling it spells, but whatever. So after the spells are cast, they start to work. So Chris becomes infatuated with Sarah and he goes after her constantly. Um and his friends are giving him like crap about it and constantly taunting him. Bonnie's scars miraculously heal. And then the next time Laura bullies Rochelle, her hair starts to fall out. So everybody's getting what they put out, essentially. There is a scene where Nancy's at home. She gets upset with her stepdad. She starts a fire. And then her stepdad, Ray, he suffers from a massive heart attack and he dies. Nancy and her mom, they find out that they have just inherited $175,000 from an insurance policy that Ray had on them. And they were like, 175. First of all, the way that they were acting, I was like, he need to look into them. He need to look into them because they were like
I
$175,000.
know.
They're a
Man. And then
like
I was like, well, today, well, I'd say that's not a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but it's not, if that makes sense.
no, I get it. I was conflicted because I was like, today that's not a lot, but if I'm not gonna turn it down, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna turn it down,
Yeah.
especially in that circumstance. I wouldn't want to lose like a actual loved one for I want to say
Mhm.
for any I want to say for any amount of money. For any amount of money, I would not want to lose a loved one, but
True.
especially not
True.
175. But so yeah, so I guess that was what she was working on. She needed to get him out of the picture and needed to come up on the come up. So they end up moving into A nice little high-rise apartment that you get to see when the girls visit one night. They moved on up to the East Side High.
I was just about to say. Yeah.
So the girls go visit Nancy and her mom in their new apartment. And that is when, because this is important, when they talk about glamour magic. So changing something about yourself or like making someone see something that isn't there. And Sarah changes her eye color and they're like, we are not impressed by that. But then she changes her hair color and they're like, bro, that's pretty cool. So
Yeah, cause I was like, the wig. I don't know why I've been
the
noticing wigs
wig.
lately in these movies. Man. But
Wait,
I mean,
speaking of
for back
wigs,
then, that was a good quality wig.
yeah, it was decent. Wait, speaking of wigs, wait, did she have on a wig the whole time though? Because something about her hair was bothering
That's what I
me.
was that's what I was gonna say. I think it was a wig the whole time.
Okay, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. It was a fun fact. I think she had. Was it her? Yes. So okay, yes, it was a wig because she had just completely shaved her head for her role in Empire Records, released 1995.
Mm.
So okay.
I don't think I've
It was
ever
alright. It was
heard of that
alright. It
movie.
was it was me neither. It was something about the roots. I kept looking at the roots like, what is this? What's going on with her head?
Yeah, cause like I didn't
But
notice it until that scene, and then when she went back, I was like, it still looked like a wig,
yeah,
and I was like, oh, I think it was the whole movie.
that's funny.
Yeah. So now the girls they go back to Lirio's shop, and Nancy finds a book about invoking the spirit. And that night, the girls go to the beach and they form a circle and they call on Manon. And that's when we were like, Nancy being slick again.
Me, I need it all. We need it.
As they're finishing up the spell, Nancy is struck by lightning. And then we go to the next morning and Nancy is literally walking on water. When I saw that, I would have been like, okay, we done messed up.
Girl,
Cause
what?
yeah.
She was walking on
And
water.
yeah, and then there were like all of the sharks were dead, like on land, and they were like dead, and all the police were out there. Forgot to mention when they were at the shop owner did tell them to be careful what they do because whatever they do will come back to them times three. Rochelle sees Laura in the locker room and she's like on the floor in the shower crying because she is bald. Or not completely bald, but her
Ooh,
hair is still falling.
ooh, she had, she had,
She
what do you
looked like
call it?
what's
Oh,
Helen in Candyman when
she
she was
did
coming
look
up
just
out that
like Helen
fire.
and Candyman. And she also looked like, what's his name? Riff Raff in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh,
It's such
yes,
sound.
yes.
Oh Lord.
Yes.
Woo.
And so we see Rochelle, she's kind of feeling bad about it. I was like, I do not care. But yeah, Rochelle, she did start to feel remorse, but I mean, she got what she deserved,
I was gonna say, I put
in
that
my
in my note.
opinion.
I was like, is it bad that I don't feel bad? Because I don't feel bad. You shouldn't have been racist. Like the spell literally
What
was
Cat
set up.
Williams? What was that?
What?
No, you remember his stand up. It's just a clip. I don't even remember what he was talking about, but he was like, you shouldn't have been talking shit.
You should.
I was
I
like,
mean,
that's what I was feeling.
it. She
Because
set it up. She was like, if she leave me alone, nothing will happen to her. But she didn't leave her alone. She should have left her alone. Sorry about it.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, remember Sarah? She casted the love spell, and that too begins to backfire on her. Chris is obsessed. He was showing up at her house in the middle of the night, being really aggressive. She finally decides to go on a dinner date with him. Instead of taking her out to dinner, he takes her to the top of a hill. And again, being really aggressive, he attempts to rape her. She gets away from him and she goes to tell all of the girls what happened. Nancy, against the girls, against their better judgment, because they're like, Nancy, leave it alone. And she's like, no, I'm going to pay him a visit. She goes to a party. She tries to seduce him, but he's like, I don't really, he's just not feeling it. So she uses the glamour magic and she disguises herself as Sarah, which I was like, no, I'm gonna let him make it because he was drunk. Because when she did it, she was still in the room. When she turned into Sarah, she was still in the room. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But he was wasted. He was white boy wasted. Mm. So she's seducing him as Sarah, and then all of the girls arrive, which means the real life Sarah arrives, and he's like, "What is going on? She is a bruja. She is a bruja." Nancy causes Chris to fall out of a third story window, killing him. Well, did she kill him? That's what I got confused. Did she kill him or did he cease to exist? Or he died like in that reality? Because she kept saying, like, you're nothing. You are nothing. You don't exist. You are nothing. But she killed him. I think when I first watched it, I think she made him like cease to exist. You know what I mean? But she like
Yeah, I
actually
think
killed him.
no, but I think she did kill him because when Sarah went back to the magic shop, she said she killed somebody. So I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
is when Sarah is fed up with Nancy and her shenanigans. And her minions. I'm gonna call them
Mhm.
minions. They were minions.
Yeah. And they started showing up in her dreams. I was like, they pulled a Freddy Krueger on her. And she's feeling like, yeah, that they're following her everywhere to basically torment her, which they are. So, yeah, she does a binding spell so she wouldn't be able to basically harm herself or others. And it doesn't work. And that makes them come after her even more. Nancy, she told Sarah that back in the day, if a
Back
witch
in
betrayed her coven, then they would kill her, basically. Sarah's like, okay. She goes back to the magic shop because she's like, okay, the lady Lirio, she goes to her for help and she tells her that she needs to invoke the spirit herself. And I don't know how she knew this. Maybe was she like what would you call them? Not a medium, but like a psychic maybe? Because how does she know all this stuff?
maybe.
Because she told her
Maybe.
mom was a witch
I
and
figured she
that,
was just a witch. Like, but
oh,
like, cause Phoebe, right? Charmed.
mm-hmm.
She's a seer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so she tells her that her mom was a witch and that her mom's powers are passed on to her. She does start to invoke, how do we pronounce it? Manon? That's how we pronounced it.
That's how I've been saying it.
Okay. But she has a vision of a fire and the shop exploding, so she leaves.
Sarah returns home where Nancy, Bonnie, and Rochelle are continuing to taunt her using magic. They was threatening her life. They was coming for her head. Nancy calls her and tells her that there's been a terrible accident. She tells her to turn on the TV, and we find out that her dad was involved in a plane crash where there are no survivors. And I'm assuming her dad and her random stepmom that I don't believe was there before uh, did not survive the crash. So all of these snakes and bugs appear everywhere. The three other, we'll call them a coven girls, they appear and they're intimidating her and Nancy says that they're going to get Sarah to commit suicide. So earlier in the film, Sarah reveals to the girls that that before she attempted her first suicide attempt, that she was having hallucinations of snakes and bugs everywhere. So they were doing that on purpose.
Nancy, she cut Sarah's wrist, and then a letter magically appears in Sarah's handwriting, like a suicide note, basically. And she was blaming herself for Chris's death. Sarah, she runs into her room, and they're basically waiting it out for her, basically waiting for her to die. They did try to talk her out of, like, basically, like, you know what, this is too much. This is getting out of hand, and Nancy does not care. It was just a lot. It was a lot because
Yeah.
Nancy was tripping.
For whatever reason, Nancy wanted Rochelle to go to Sarah's room. She was telling them to go there, and Rochelle was like,
Yeah,
"No, I'm not going to do that." And then she threatened to slit Rochelle's throat.
that's what it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that's why they were headed to the room. Minions, like I
Oops.
said, they were just
Yeah. Sarah, she's trying to invoke Manon, but she's like too weak. So she hears her mom. And it was like the scene was like the picture of her mom, and the picture started moving. They do that on Charmed too, like in the early
mhm.
season. Yeah.
Mhm.
And she could hear her voice, and her mom was telling her not to be afraid and to reach inside yourself. And this is when Sarah was able to invoke Manon, and she starts to fight back, and she healed herself, she healed her wrist. This was like another part of the movie, one of those scenes. I was like, oh, I like how, they did that. She forces them to see themselves like for like what they've become. And so it's
Mhm.
like Rochelle is, I hated that for her. She was bald. And Nancy, like all of her burns came back. They got out of there. They left. They
Yeah.
left Nancy because they was like, no, this is getting too real. We gotta go.
Yeah. Back. It came back times 3.
Which is what Lirio told them before. And I think that's just a rule of for any witch. Because you're not supposed to do stuff for personal gain.
Yes. Come on, Charmed.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And I like the fact too that Lirio was like, there's not really a such thing as like light or dark magic. Again, it was just the whole personal gain aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so they left. Bonnie and Rochelle are out of there. It's a Nancy and Sarah showdown, smackdown, throwdown. I built that up. But no, Nancy, hold on. I built it up. Nancy lost, y'all. Nancy didn't make it. She didn't make it out. It was a smackdown though. They was fighting to the death. Sarah is able to bind her powers again so she cannot harm anybody else or herself. So, all is good in the hood. In the end, Nancy is sent to a psychiatric hospital. Bonnie and Rochelle, we find out because they come to visit Sarah, her and her dad are packing it up. Again, I don't think you saw her stepmom again. I don't know what happened to her stepmom. She doesn't exist.
Because, like, if you go see a movie in theaters and you buy the movie, you might end up buying like the director's cut. So there will be like different scenes that
Okay.
wasn't like in the. So I'm kind of thinking, was it something like that? Because I do not remember that lady.
So, yeah, maybe that was the director's cut. And then they were like, she's not really
So, okay,
needed.
she's not given.
They don't reference her no
I.
any. So yes, they are preparing to move to get out of there. They're moving it somewhere else. Both Bonnie and Rochelle, they come to visit Sarah. They're digging because they don't have any powers, and they ask her if she still has powers, and she doesn't really give them anything. And then they're like, like, sorry, sorry we tried to kill you, but you didn't really die. Your dad's not even dead. It was just a prank. So come on, let's be friends. And Sarah's like, nah, like, no, I'm not interested. And then they like mock her, like, well, she probably doesn't have any powers anyway. But then Sarah gets on her storm from the X-Men type stuff. She's making clouds roll. She has the lightning come down and strike a branch. She letting them know, I got it. I got that thing. I keeps that power on me, is what she said. And she warns them like, y'all better watch out, be careful, because you don't want to end up like Nancy.
Nancy. So it ends with her being in the psychiatric hospital. Final thoughts. 'Cause I'm trying to think. You could tell that Bonnie and Rochelle didn't have bad intentions. Like you could
Yeah,
tell with Nancy. I started to go with the angle that none of them actually had powers and it was all in their mind. But the way it ended, no, I don't think so.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm gonna say I kind of feel bad for all of them because they are just teenagers, and like, yes, Nancy was on one, but we saw her home life. She was kind of desperate. She's young. She's just trying to get out of the slums. And then with Bonnie, I feel bad for her because I believe the way she was acting was a side effect. Like, I believe it was all a side effect from what they had conjured up. So like, notice even what's her name? Sarah pointed out, like, you were a lot nicer when you didn't feel pretty. Like, you were a lot nicer when you thought that you were ugly. So I think that that was like a side effect of the spell, like her ego. Something happened like internally with her ego.
I still don't feel bad for Nancy because like you could see with Bonnie and Rochelle how different they were from Nancy. Cause I was like,
Oh
this was
yeah.
all Nancy's for me. It was all her intention from the beginning. She wanted all of the power for herself.
But I mean, because she had invoked that power, was that a side effect? Like, would Nancy, before she would took on all that power, would she have killed anybody? I don't know. I don't know that it was that. You know what I mean? I don't know that it was
Yeah.
that. I don't know that she was murderous before. Before, these might not make it, but did you know that? Well, okay, all of the actresses, they were in their 20s at the time of filming, but Rachel True was like nearly 30, and I was like, come on, Black don't crack. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
That is a woman. So it's not too late
Yes.
for us. D, we could go to Hollywood and play in a teen movie. Robin Tooney, again, the girl, the woman that plays Sarah, she initially wanted to play Bonnie, but then the director was like, no, we're gonna change that because he saw Nev Campbell on something else, The Party of Five, a show that she was in, and
Mm.
wanted her as Bonnie. Also, Angelina Jolie and Alicia Silverstone were considered for the role of Sarah. So for Robin Tooney's character, and
You
then
said who now?
Alicia Silverstone and Angelina Jolie could have possibly played Sarah. You
I
can't see
couldn't
it,
see
right?
it.
I definitely
Mm-mm.
don't see Angelina Jolie. I could see Alicia Silverstone, but I definitely don't see Angelina Jolie. If anything, I could see Angelina Jolie for Nancy, maybe, if they hadn't found.
Yeah, that makes more
Yeah.
sense. But no,
And
I feel like
then,
Nancy was casted perfectly.
yeah, yes.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't be wanting to call people witches without proof, but I think she does dabble or did.
She's a witch.
The lady that plays Nancy. Or it could
Yeah.
just be she does look like
Arusa.
she just looks like a stereotypical witch to me.
She does. Yeah, she really does. Feruza Balk. Even her name, Feruza Balk, or however you say
Yeah.
her name. Uh there was one more. Oh, okay. Holly Marie Combs. She was in the running for the role of Bonnie as well, which we know Holly Marie Combs eventually goes
I
on
could
to
kind
star
of
in
see that.
Charmed.
Charm,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
Piper. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
could kind of see that. Cause
I could.
to me they kind of favor a little bit her and Nev Campbell.
Yeah. I'm wondering when the concept for Charmed like came about. That's what I wonder
Good
cuz
question.
there are a lot of similarities between
There
this
is.
and
Let me see. I
Charmed.
don't know.
Or maybe just witches were just really popular cuz then you have Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
True.
Okay, I can pull up on this thing time and 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 time again. I'm going to have to give that thing a 3 point. That's 3.8. I'm gonna give it a 3.8. There's some holes in the plot. I get it. But I just, again, rewatchability is big for me. I definitely can pull up on that thing a lot. I didn't really have any problems with like the acting. The cinematography was good. The music was good. The plot was good. I love, like, how you feel about aliens is how I feel about, I love witches. So I'm in that thing. 3.8. 3.8.
I think I'm going to go with a 3.8 because I know I say how many, because I will say this is one of my favorite movies. So I'm a little biased. Like, yeah, like you said, there were some plot holes or whatever, but overall, that's about the only thing negative I can think about it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 3.8.
All right, and IMDb gives The Craft a 6.5 out of 10. Rotten, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 57%. Metacritic, let me make sure this is the original. Hold on. Yeah, this is the original. I need to make sure it wasn't the remake. Metacritic gives it a 55%. And again, these are all like um critic reviews. And then Google for the people, they give it a 4.4 out of 5. So pull up on it. If you have never pulled up on it before, pull up on it.
Yes, definitely would recommend.
Yeah.
Please follow us on Instagram at It's a Strange World Podcast and TikTok at It's a Strange World After All. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and like the show, please go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. And if you're feeling extra strange, please write a review. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and leave a positive comment or constructive criticism. There we go.
Yes, the police. Please, please come and get strange with us. We would love to hear from you. What did you think of this week's episode? Again, we'd love to hear your feedback, episode suggestions, and movie or documentary review suggestions, or any inquiries about being a guest on the show. We love guests. We love to spread the love. Come get strange with us. You can email those submissions to it's a strange world after all at gmail.com or DM us at any other social media platforms previously mentioned.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of It's a Strange World After All.
And thank you, as always, for keeping it strange with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.